Well, hello. Oh no. Oh no, you can't see us. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Movie Couple Live, the show where we talk about the latest news in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And on today's show, we're talking potentially, allegedly, Avengers 5 may no longer be called Kang Dynasty.
Borderlands movie releases its first official trailer.
And of course, Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're going to talk about the live action series as well as the news for the animated film that's going to continue the core characters story. All this and more on today's show. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Friday. It's no longer raining in LA.
Not
The
for
sun's
long
back
though.
out.
Monday's
Such
coming
a
around.
bummer. What? What?
Yep, so everyone grab your coffee, grab your boba, grab your liquid IV with promo code The Movie Couple for, is it 25? No, it's 20%.
20% with free shipping.
With free shipping.
What flavor are you having today?
I got the Wild Berry Immune Booster.
Oh, right. So you get hydration and immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We are...
and of course, we have a little visitor, Miss Navi, who always wants to come over
Navi.
right at the time that we start filming.
Navi. All right. Goodbye, Navi. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get into our main news topics that we just talked about, we do have some breaking news, and we'll also want to let you know that Echo episode 3, I know we're so behind on this, on the editing, because we obviously finished the series when it finished, but editing took forever. But episode 3 of our reaction to Echo, episode 3 is now out on the channel for you to peruse and enjoy. Episode 4 and 5 will follow, and we're also working on the live action Airbender reaction / review, so look forward to those videos. I'm going to start the edit on episode 1 today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our news flash. First up, let's talk about The Boys Season 4. Official release date has been announced. It's going to be coming out this June 13th.
Yep.
It's almost a year.
2 years.
Almost 2 years?
2 years since season 3 aired.
Wow.
And I'm honestly, I'm glad that we waited, because with the way that season 3 ended, it would have been just constant going, when is the next season coming out? I want it now.
Give it to me.
Give it to me now. Because it just, I mean, having to wait almost 2 whole years for season 4 to finally drop. But in between that, we did get Gen V. So there was kind of like a Boys 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely cameos and, certain things that's worked into the dialogue that very much makes the viewers understand that this is all within the world of The Boys, especially if you got to the season finale of Gen V, you see who shows up, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
So that's
multiple characters that show up.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm really excited. One of the things that we did read in one of the articles about The Boys coming out, they didn't mention, they're like, oh, here's who's returning, right? And they mentioned everybody that we know. So like Starlight, Huey, Judge Dredd. What's his name?
Carl Urban.
I know, but what is his?
Oh, Butcher.
Thank
Billy
you.
Butcher.
I was like,
It's like, we know, but we just can't get it out at the moment. But of course, it really is the relationship between Billy Butcher and Homelander that just drives the show forward. Very much in the article that we read, it related them to kind of like a Batman and Joker.
Yes. But I also want to say that, like, it was weird in the article that they didn't mention the actor who's playing Mother's Milk, MM. They didn't mention him by name to return.
Oh, yeah.
But spoiler alert for if you haven't he's definitely alive and well.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they wouldn't. Maybe he didn't want to return. I don't know. But either way, we're super excited about that. Let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later. Your excitement for The Boys season 4. Was the wait too long for you? You're no longer interested? Let us know. And then the next piece of breaking news. This literally just happened right before we came on. Thank you to MK Songbird for dropping this in our Discord.
Thank you.
Yeah, you read that right. The Naruto movie is going to be getting a live action adaptation, it looks like. It's a very popular manga. It's a very popular anime. I can't believe it's still going on, I believe, which is insane to me. But it looks like they have tapped Destin Daniel Cretton, who co-wrote and directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings, is going to write and also direct the live-action adaptation of Naruto for Lionsgate. So, just some initial thoughts on this. I think anime live-action adaptation isn't easy to do.
No.
We've seen the Japanese production company have been doing this for years. I don't know if there has ever been a live action adaptation from Japan. I know there is for Death Note. I know there is for Bleach. I know there is for Attack on Titan. I think Trigun. Well, I think the best like example of that for one that crossed over into the US that kind of bummed everybody out was Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
One of the most beloved anime/manga of all time, and they
did not do
drop
it
the ball.
But it's weird. It does seem like they're starting to get better, and it seems like, what is it called? Like the anime to live action trends are kind of copying the video game to live action trends, but they're going through it a lot quicker. They're learning their lessons faster.
Yes.
Even though, yes, we've had horrible adaptations from anime to live action, they're starting to get better. They did a good job on One Piece.
They really did. One Piece, I think, was an outlier that like they happened to have done really well. Death Note was not like, okay, so we've talked to some people who hadn't watched Death Note ever. Like they haven't read the manga, they haven't watched the anime. So they didn't know what to expect going in, and they watched it and they were like, oh, it's fine. But I think for everybody else who knows the source material, they didn't capture the essence of any of it at all. Like I don't want to get into it, but the one thing that I'm excited for is Daniel Destin Cretton, because I think he did a really tremendous job with Shang-Chi. He did a great job with the action. And he also did, was it American Born Chinese? I think he had something to do with that. He wasn't the showrunner, but I think he was like one of the creators for it. Yeah, I think he was. And even though it's not moving forward past the first season, I thought the story was a lot of fun and the action was a lot of fun to watch for a TV series. On a movie making scale, I don't know, we'll see, because it can work for Naruto because it's ninjutsu, but at the same time there's a lot of like transformational anime type things that doesn't exactly translate to film. One Piece was able to do it, so we'll see if Naruto is able to do it. I think they should confer.
Yeah, one of the big things too is that when you do a anime to live action, being able to give yourself more episodes, like being able to do it live, I mean, be able to do it like in a series, I think you have a lot more wiggle room. Doing it into a movie is a lot more difficult. I think what they really have to do is pick their beginning story, make sure it's just like, okay, we're only going to take this small little chunk and turn this into a movie. If it's successful, then we'll start moving on to all of the stuff that they have grown over the decades of all of these different animes that have come out, all these different episodes of anime that has come out. So I'm a little nervous about them turning it into a movie.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I want to trust the process, maybe, hopefully.
They're getting better. They're getting better. Because even we've so far have watched one episode of the live action Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
And okay, it is leaps and bounds a million times better than the movie. And I can see room for growth.
Yes.
I'm still a little like, I don't like the way that they're being directed in their acting. You can definitely tell that it is a minimal budget with special effects that they're having to take. Not the fact that the special effects are bad, but they're having to take their special effects budget and stretch it between 8 hours of content. So I feel like they're moving in the right direction of being able to do good adaptations for anime. But let's see if they can now translate it into a Naruto movie.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he's just been tapped to write and direct. We're I wouldn't even say we're near pre-production at all. Like he's got to write the script and
they're like pre-production.
Yeah, so it'll take a while. We probably won't hear updates about it for a little while, but like we will see. And thank you to, I think, was it Rurutu? Not this comment. There was another comment by Rurutu. This one about Naruto. So Naruto has been done, like that storyline has been done for 10 years, and Boruto is the current series, and then Naruto says it sucks. I haven't watched Boruto. Like the last thing I remember watching Naruto was, I don't even think he had become the Hokage at that point. When I started to fall off the series. I honestly can't remember.
I've seen like snippets and bits and pieces, and I mean, it always looked really cool. The one scene that I loved, and I've actually seen copied in a couple other different movies and anime, is, I don't remember the characters' names, I apologize, but when the one guy takes off all of his weights.
Oh, Lee.
And
he opens all of his chakras.
He's fighting the guy that uses the sand.
Yeah, he was fighting.
And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a second. I've seen that before in different movies when they take off the weights and they level up. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good fight.
That fight was epic. And I feel like if they're going to do the movie, can they please do that? Because those moments for him was so good. Like Naruto's a good example. It was like several times I cried watching that anime with like, there's moments with like Sakura and Sasuke and Lee, and it's just so many things. Brian Perez chimes in and says he became Hokage off screen.
Oh, isn't that kind of like a big moment? I mean, I feel like that would have been like something that you might.
There are other big moments in the show that is better told, I think, like the Nine Foxtail and everything. Anyways, that's our quick thoughts on the news flash for Naruto. So thank you, MK, for letting us know about all this in the Discord. So
before we move on to our next topic, though, we do have a super chat.
Oh my god, thank you.
I want to be able to get all them super chats in.
Sorry, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony writes, hi, Dustin and Wendy, Navi, and Movie Bunch. Let's get into it. Hope you're all doing good. Hope we get a real Dragon Ball live action one day. Maybe one day we can.
I like the stress on a real one, not what we got before, but a real one. And you know what? And that's true, because that's something that, I mean, Dragon Ball Z has such a huge following. You know, it makes sense that they would want to try, once, the studios kind of have their animate a live action legs underneath them, to be able to retry this. Because I'm sure they're always willing to give us, I'm always willing to give studios a second chance.
Right.
Even though back in the back of my head, I'm like, but don't mess up again.
They've done 2 Dragon Ball. No, just the one, Evolution.
Evolution, yeah. I mean, and I'm sorry. I never even saw it, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are like, I wish I never saw it. We don't talk about it. It's very much like, the live action Avatar.
The other one.
Yeah, the other live action.
The Amber Island Players live action adaptation. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which I think would be hilarious. If someone took that and then digitally put in there, like, an actor holding up that little rock that they send across, and he's like... And then made it like, just put in little things to make it look like it's on stage.
It's on stage, yeah. Oh my god. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our first main topic of the day. Let's do this one first. Party is what everybody's here.
That's what everyone's here for.
That's what everyone is here for. So let's talk about it. This was based off an article that was released by The Hollywood Reporter. Now, nothing is confirmed by Marvel. Or from any personnel from Marvel. This is one of those like sources close to them says it's unconfirmed. It's all alleged. So we're going to treat it as rumors, and we're just going to discuss it. Just have a fun conversation about it, because like, what if this is the route they're going? What could they do with it?
We're just going to treat it as what if it is true. So, but yeah, once again, nothing is confirmed until either Marvel or Disney come out and say, okay, this is what we're doing.
I can see Kevin Feige tomorrow and be like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, he could do that.
I could see them actually never saying anything. They're just like, hey, you know what? this is our plan. We're going to move forward like this. And they just never really address it. And they're just going to move forward. But Wendy?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking too, with Comic-Con and D23 coming up, he may not address it in Hall H in that kind of a setting, but there's also going to be a press line, and I think a lot of outlets will be asking that question.
Oh yeah.
So I want to see how he answers it, or he just kind of shuts it down completely, or he'll say no comment for the moment. I don't know, but there's a few months between now and Comic-Con, so I'm sure they're prepping right now for how to handle that if that question were to come through, which I think it will. So just some main points off of this and why Kang Dynasty might not work. The article kind of said that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania wasn't as popular with the Marvel fans as they thought. The introduction to Kang didn't go over as well in that film than what everybody thought. They said that it didn't make enough money, which, Dustin, you looked up the number. It's not like it failed in the box office. It's not Avengers like Endgame level, but I don't think
$476 million at the global box office is considered underperforming for Marvel. And that is actually what Ant-Man Quantumania hit. But, it's not the fact that they might have underperformed financially. There were a lot of people, a lot of critics and a lot of people who came out of that movie going, this is how we're starting off phase 4?
I think the problem with it, too, was a lot of the marketing. The marketing made it look like the Kang movie rather than an Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yeah.
And we all get very excited, get wrapped up in the excitement of like a new villain. If you've read the comics, Kang is a pretty formidable foe. So and potentially where his storyline could go and how that's going to affect the MCU. So we're all excited to see that. But this was just a mere introduction to a variation of Kang. And at the core of it, it's an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Did I like this better than 1 and 2? No. I also didn't like how they did MODOK.
Oh my god!
At all.
That
like
was painful.
we were not a fan of it. If you liked it, that's like, I love that for you. I wish I loved it, but I didn't. So we will see what happens. Some of the other points of them potentially moving away from Avengers 5 being called Kang Dynasty lies in the actor who portrays Kang, which I thought he did a really fantastic job as Kang. Really loved him in Loki season 2.
Yes, and in also Loki season 1 and
right.
2.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I don't think the problem really was with Jonathan Majors' portrayal or his acting. I think a lot of it happened with a lot of the financial, the things that were going on with Marvel at the time. And of course, his alleged
abuse, and
it's not alleged anymore. He was found guilty.
Oh, that's right. So I think that like Marvel obviously cut ties with cut ties with them, as well as I believe his management and publicists. So it's like they want to move away from it. And how do you do that? Do you then move away from Kang altogether and you shift gears to a different villain, or do you recast? That's kind of like some of the options that are out there, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm sitting here going, I think it's not just the fact that Jonathan, with the troubles that Jonathan Majors got in. I think it's also the fact that Kang wasn't hitting as well as they had hoped. And I think it was because they kind of want to tweak the direction that Marvel is going. I think all three of these things hitting all at once is what's making their decision to maybe completely change Kang Dynasty, remove Kang as a threat. But I'm also curious on how they're going to pull that off, because we know where they're ending. We know what the ending is, and that is Secret War.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the destination and we kind of know the beginning. It's this middle gap that we're kind of like, okay, are we now going to introduce a new villain? Are we going to introduce Dr. Doom?
Yeah.
Because we had the news about
Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four. So I'm a little curious on, even if this is true,
yeah,
and they're completely veering away from Kang,
yeah,
then who are they going to put in his place? Are we just going to get a whole bunch of, is this kind of going to be like phase 4? Marvel's like, okay, let's clean everything up.
yes,
Let's get everything set.
yes.
And then kind of not really do a reboot, but a pruning of the timeline.
They're pruning their own storyline. The TVA is real, guys.
That might happen with Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool just comes in and just starts pruning stuff like crazy. And he's just going around to all of the Kangs and going, nope, 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 nope. And it's just taking
he takes the time stick to the announcement of Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, and he touches the thing and it just what if he thought that'd be hilarious. But look, like you said earlier, it's a lot of moving pieces. It's not one singular thing. It's not just the Jonathan Majors thing. It's not just whether or not Ant-Man 3 was well perceived or not, or the villain was well perceived or not, or this was losing money and that underperformed. Like it's all of it. And with Bob Iger coming back, being the CEO again, he's already is kind of like, we got to slow it down. We were putting out a lot, which is like great, but we want quality over quantity. I would rather quality over quantity. Well, I miss it, sure, but then when you do get it and it's good, then you can like.
Well, like with Loki season 2, I thought that was amazing. And Brian also put into the chat, that is a really good point. They kind of left it with that at the end of Loki season 2 was the fact that they got rid of the loom, they got rid of a lot of the Kang stuff, and it really does leave it open. And the fact that the TVA is going to be playing a huge role in Deadpool and Wolverine, it kind of makes sense that you can bring in this chaotic fourth wall breaking character and just be like, okay, let's clean everything up. And you could do it so absurdly, but since it's being led by Deadpool, it works.
And we're seeing, Marvel already putting in the work, I think, to kind of like, let's refocus on storytelling, what's making you
am
laugh.
Marvel Jesus. I'm just so looking forward to that. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that this year for 2024, we're getting one Marvel movie and only 2 TV Disney Plus shows. Because we're getting the Maya show. I don't want to say
I turned her off.
Oh, okay. We got Echo, which and Agatha, which I don't know what the full name is because they've changed it like 5 times.
Right now it is being called Agatha Darkhold Diaries.
Well, I think that's just like maybe the most recent.
Okay, so maybe they could. I will call it the Agatha show.
The Agatha show. So I mean, it gives us time to
the Catherine Hahn show.
The Catherine Hahn show. I feel like it gives us time to be able to miss Marvel a little bit, to kind of cleanse our palate, be like, hey, you know what? Let's consume some other media right now. Kind of get rid over. I hate using the phrase, but the superhero fatigue. I think it's just bad superhero content fatigue. Because we've been getting that a lot from all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not tired of superhero movies. Like every time I think about the potential of like seeing another one on screen, I get really excited. But when the storytelling is lackluster, that's when you're like, oh.
Well, I mean, everyone's still excited for The Boys. Yeah, that's superhero. Based off a comic book.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Agatha show, whatever title they may, end up using, they just finished their reshoots. They had a budget for 5 days of reshoots, but they only used 1. So I think that's good that you were able to, they have a clear vision of where they want the show to go, what story they're telling, with the actors and the directors working really well together. I feel like only using 1 day of your reshoot, and you have the producers and directors watching the dailies and going, you know what, we got it. That's a wrap. That's a good sign. Because they had 5 days. They certainly didn't need to rush it. It was already within their budget. And then Stardew says Agatha is out in the rumor is that it's going to be out in October. I feel like I've heard that as well.
Which actually would fit, because then you can kind of make it more of like a Halloween spooky kind of thing, and it deals with witches and magic. So that kind of fits perfectly.
And you want to talk about superhero fatigue, but we have the Wolverine and sorry, I said Deadpool's gonna come for me. It's like you put Wolverine's name first.
It's my movie.
Deadpool and Wolverine, the Super Bowl trailer got the most. It's like the most watched trailer of all time with 365 million views in just 24 hours. I don't see that and say, yeah, that we're experiencing superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like you said, it's really the bad story versus, bad storytelling or
like Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that didn't go, the ending didn't go over well. And then we also had the X-Men 97 trailer that also came out, and that also, I think, had a large amount of views. A lot of people are really excited for a Marvel animated show that's not What If.
And that's fact. There's so much nostalgia around the X-Men 97 franchise. The fact that, I mean, I grew up on that. Anytime, for the longest time, I think both of us had on our phones the ringtone on our phones. So it is very nostalgic just to be able to see these characters come back, for them to be able to be like, hey, you know what? We didn't really do well on the last season of this show. So let's, let's see if we can patch things up and move on and bring back the good vibes from the earlier seasons. I still want to go back and rewatch the Phoenix Saga. I want to go back and rewatch Dark Phoenix. I love the fact that they had just huge chunks of episodes that were just telling these deep stories.
Yes. So whether Avengers 5 will be called Kang Dynasty or not, we won't know, obviously, until Marvel gives us until Kevin Feige gives us a confirmed answer. So we can only speculate, for the time being. But I feel like there is wiggle room for them to go a different direction should they choose. They'll just have to make the announcement, be like, yeah, we thought it was going to work, and it was, however they want to handle it. But there's also ways for them to continue with that. The main thing is they will have to recast the actor who plays Kang.
Yeah.
Because they let him go, so then they have to go through the conversation of, do they want to hire him back, or what do they do? And because the TVA and everything, and we're playing with like different variants and stuff, we can say these are not the true variants, even though that end credit in Ant-Man,
where they're all
Jonathan Major faces.
Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with them recasting Jonathan Majors. Even though, don't get me wrong, he did an amazing job on what he did.
Really good actor.
I still feel like with the nature of the character of Kang, it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, these are now variants, or no, this is what he always looked like. Yeah.
We'll see if Deadpool will maybe touch on that. That would be interesting to see if they do that. Oh, this is an interesting comment. Jacobs writes, also Henry Cavill will play Scott Summers / Cyclops in the MCU.
Interesting. That would
maybe as how like John Krasinski is in the real, like maybe it's like a one-off thing in Deadpool. If that's true,
that would be cool. And honestly, I would love to see that too. Yeah. Just, of course, since it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they can be like, hey guys, we're gonna have fun in Deadpool 3, and we're gonna do kind of like a John Krasinski. I can never say his name right. I apologize. John Krasinski thing in Deadpool 3, where we're just going to be like, we're going to go to this universe. Oh, hey, here's the fan pick that everyone wanted.
Another rumor. The rumor was that he potentially would be Captain Britain.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would that would definitely.
I would love to see Henry Cavill in the MCU.
Yeah,
and playing around with him in what is it called? In Deadpool. Would be perfect. You can just experiment, see how it works, see how people take it. And heck, there's rumors. I was watching one of the videos for the Real Rock Stars, and they were breaking down the Deadpool trailer and how they're kind of like, since these are all different versions, they're going through the multiverse, there could be multiple versions of Wolverine. There was a shot of Deadpool's gloves, but it was a different glove. And they were theorizing that it was actually Lady Deadpool. There's a shot of like Wolverine in the white suit. I can't remember but he's one of the Deadpool. I mean, one of the Wolverines that has the eye patch. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm terrible with names. I apologize. But the fact that you could have like Daniel Radcliffe in there as Wolverine, they could throw Hugh Jackman in there as Wolverine. They can throw in who was in the Kingsman, Taron Egerton as Wolverine, and we just get all these different versions of Wolverine. I think that would be hilarious. That would be so
they
fun.
They could do the Spider-Man pointing meme.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be really funny. I want to call this super chat. Thank you for your super chat, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Many people still think that it's doubtful for Mahershala Ali to ever be in a Blade movie. I saw that he has committed to voice Blade in season 3 episode of What If. I think that's a good sign. Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely a good sign. And
absolutely.
Honestly, they've already started the wheels going on Blade. So even if Blade gets pushed back, it's going to happen. They're not just going to be, and unless there's a complete upheaval at Marvel, I feel like they've planned it, they've structured it, they kind of know where they want to put Blade into the cinematic universe. And I feel like just give it some time. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that, yes, there's talk or rumors that he's going to be in What If season 3, it makes more sense. And also it seems like it's like, hey, Mahershala, here, we've been wanting you to be Blade for a really long time. Yep. So here's something for Blade. Yeah. And we'll get to your movie shortly.
Yeah. So we will see what happens with all of that stuff. And there's, again, it's not just one singular thing, aside from financially, performance financially, the Jonathan Majors thing, whatever it may be. There was also, let's not forget, I think even though we're now in 2024, I think a lot of production companies are still feeling that effect from 2020 with the pandemic and the shutdown.
Yes.
Everything was really pushed back. No one's ever experienced anything like that before in our lifetime. And it's like they have to reshuffle and refigure out how to release this, and we rework stuff like that. And it's all sort of, it's always constantly happening. And then you had the writers and actors strike that prevented anybody from working, so that pushed back things even further. So we're seeing the next Captain America movie being pushed back to 2020.
That's right.
So,
we're seeing the Thunderbolts being pushed back.
Yeah. They just hired a new They hired Joanna Callow. Sorry if I'm saying that last name wrong. The showrunner of The Bear, to write the script, to work on the script for the Thunderbolts. So that's really exciting, and they are supposed to start filming next month in Atlanta. So I'm super excited. I really like The Bear. I haven't seen all of them, but from what I have seen, I have really liked. So yeah, we're crossing our fingers for Mahershala Ali.
Yes, and to circle back a little bit too, yes. It also, all of this happened probably at the worst time for Marvel and Disney, because they had just finished in 2019 was Endgame. So they're like, oh, right, now let's start moving forward. Plan. Shoot, pandemic. Okay, restructure. Think about what we're doing. And then, okay, fine, let's go. Actor strike, writer strike, nuts. So it's kind of like, it makes sense that they're going to have to now just go back and completely restructure and work everything up.
Yeah. So you guys continue to let us know your thoughts in the comments or in the chats as we go forward with the show. Let's go ahead and go on to our next topic, which is Borderlands. Official trailer has released. Borderlands, based on a very popular video game by, I think,
Valve?
No, it's 2K.
Oh, okay.
And I think Gearbox, is that the name? But so the announcement of this movie adaptation was announced many years ago, and then the cast was announced, and then I think because of the pandemic it got pushed back. I think they wrapped in 2021.
Oh, really?
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I cannot remember. But we finally have our first official look at Borderlands. This is going to be directed by Eli Roth. We have Kate Blanchett as Lilith. We have Kevin Hart as Roland. We have Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis. And we have Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. I feel like I have to say her name.
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina, in the smallest name possible. So when they released like the silhouette photos, I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
When I saw the cast, I was like, That's an interesting bunch of names that I didn't expect to hear, but their acting ability is tremendous.
Yeah.
So I was, especially with Kate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, I've been in the industry for a really, really long time. Ariana is a little bit newer to the industry, but she has really done very well in all of everything that I've seen her in. So I was excited. And then the trailer dropped and the poster dropped. And my heart kind of sank a little bit. It's not really embracing, to me, it's not really embracing the Borderlands game that we have played and have come to love. And I also hear that this is supposed to kind of exist on like a parallel storyline, parallel universe.
I hate it when they say that.
To the actual game. So I guess if we watch it and we don't like it, we can always say, well, it doesn't matter. But I want it to matter. I want it to be a good video game adaptation.
But the one big problem is the fact that, still movie studios still have a little bit of trouble adapting some video games to movies. And I really feels like they're taking just some of the basic ideas and concept, and then they're going to make like their own movie. I'm really nervous about this. Don't get me wrong. There were parts in the trailer that I was laughing at. And I'm like, okay, that looks cool. That looks fun. But it really isn't going to be the storyline that we have from the game. It's really going to be them taking these characters and kind of the basic concept and them creating their own story. So
we don't even really know if Lilith they're going to make her a siren or not. They should.
There was a shot when they were all gathered around. It was a quick, like 1-2 second shot. And you see them go, and they all like vanish and teleport.
Oh, okay.
And so we didn't get many shots
sure
of
that's
Lilith's
her
power.
Doing that thing versus
Lilith
doing
was
a quick
in the
travel
center.
Thing? Okay.
Lilith was in the center of that. So they better keep her powers, because that was one of the coolest things about Lilith, and that was her thing, was her magic.
Then and plus they showed the Phoenix.
At the that was a firework.
That was a firework, but
got
still,
shot up.
But still. So like aesthetically, it looks okay. The trailer did make us laugh a couple of times. We have the trailer reaction up for that if you want to take a look on our channel. But I think I need to see at least one more trailer to make me go, yay, or like, oh, I could believe in this, or be like, I don't know. With Kevin Hart as Roland, I'm trying to really, I want to be with it. I really do, because I hear that he really wanted to play the character. He worked hard to train and study the role. So like, I applaud him for that, to kind of want to break out of always being the comedic actor, being typecast in that. And I feel like in the trailers, in the sentences that he said, like he's trying to be more of like the stoic, more like not a deeper voice. How do I say this? More serious type of a character. But I don't know. I don't feel like I saw enough.
From what I saw in the trailer, it really does seem like he's still kind of doing his Kevin Hart character when they're driving through that valley.
Pisswash
Valley. It was very much, roll up the way he does his lines, the way he does his stand-up, the way he does his comedy was very reminiscent on how he was saying these lines, how he was kind of portraying Roland. Now, I do have to admit, there was one shot where they were like looking down at a hole, and it kind of moved up to look at Kevin Hart. He looks buff. He looked like he really got into shape for this role. But I just never saw Roland as being played by Kevin Hart. I wanted someone that's a little bit bigger, a little beefier, a little bit more stoic kind of a character.
Emilio in the chat saying, I don't get why they didn't get Terry Crews as Roland.
Terry Crews.
That's a big dude.
I would have seen more of like a Terry Crews kind of a character. Even though they're really going to be hitting heavy probably on the comedy.
Yes, because like Borderlands need that. It's chaotic. It's like, yes, this one character may be serious, and there are serious moments in the game that you play through, but other than that, it's like chaotic fun time. If some of the lines the characters say, you just kind of hear randomly, you're like, wait, what did they just say? Why am I floating? That's one of my favorite ones. So we will see, but right now I was kind of like, oh, womp womp.
Yeah, there were some funny moments that got me a little bit more like, okay, this could be decent, but it's not going to be what it's not going to be what I know and love from the video games.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts in the comments in the chat about Borderlands. I see a couple of you guys saying that you haven't played the game yet. Where is it? Oh, hold on.
The game is really fun. We have spent hours upon hours of playing this game. The Tiny Tina D&D, they did a D&D one. It was Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah.
I unfortunately never got to play it. But we have played the first one a couple times all the way through. I've played the second one a couple times all the way through. The third one almost all the way through. But
and we have some DLC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there was a lot of
the
DLCs.
Handsome Jack stuff. Yeah. Which I don't know if they're gonna put Handsome Jack in this movie.
It doesn't seem like they are.
It's fine. He's such a good villain. I don't want them to screw it up with a live action movie if they're not gonna do it well.
They really should start from the beginning though.
So you want to hear a story, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Marcus was in the trailer. That was cool. Okay, I can't find. Oh, here it is. Moonman 101. I never played any of the games, so I hope it can be good enough to stand on its own. And see, that's another thing too. Like, movies is not made to, yes, like the targeted audience is obviously the people who's going to recognize the title, but it should also capture the attention of general audiences that go, oh, that looks like that could be a fun time in theaters. I'll go and watch it. And then maybe if they enjoy the movie for what it is, they're going to pick up the game and play through 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are so good.
Yeah.
I do think they have kind of...
If you like loot, there's a lot of loot.
There's a lot of loot. If you... I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a misfire for not having Brick or Mordecai as the main characters. I really love them. But this obviously straddles the time between 1 and 2 because Tiny Tina doesn't get introduced
until the second one.
Until the second one. And I think even Ellie, we looked at the IMDb cast list. Ellie is supposed to be in this as well. And I think she's also in 2 and not 1. So it's definitely going to exist in a time in its own. So maybe it's Brick and Mordecai have gone off on some other side mission. And then Lilith was like, well, let's just gather up these Vault Hunters specifically, and we'll do this whatever side quest as a movie. So that could be that. All right. Should we talk about our next topic?
Yes. Let's move on to the next topic.
We're going to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Before we get into the live action series talk, and again, we've only seen through episode 1 so far. We filmed our reaction last night, and we'll do more throughout the duration of however long it takes for us. But we do want to point out that the animated series, it's going to expand in the form of an animated movie. So it's going to continue on the story of Aang, Katara, Zuko, Sokka, and Toph, of the original characters. They're going to be in their 20s and 30s. Super excited about this. I thought this was like new news because it was told to me yesterday, but then I looked up an article, and literally there was an article from Nerdist from May 2023. So I wouldn't say this is brand new news, but I will say this probably resurfaced because of the Last Airbender live action series premiering. But I'm really excited that we are going to get a continuation of these characters. I know the story have like branched out in graphic novel.
Yes. And they actually, they expanded a lot in the graphic novel. I'm hoping that they go a little bit past where they were in the graphic novel. So we do see a little bit an older Aang. I think you said that they might be in their mid to late 20s. Yeah. Which is, honestly, I want to see that. I want to see them building Republic City. I want to see them having made some advancements on bringing the world back together after the 100-year Fire Nation War. And I'm excited. I want to see this storyline. This is actually what I wanted to see before they brought out Legend of Korra.
Yes.
I wanted to see Aang. I wanted to see Toph and Katara and oh my gosh. Sokka. Thank you. I was my brain was hitting Sokka and Zuko at the same time, and I couldn't. I was trying to. Anyways, but because there's a lot of things that they kind of mention and tease at in Legend of Korra, especially some romances that between like maybe Toph and and
Sokka.
And Sokka, thank you. Toph and Sokka. So I'm curious about if they're going to address any of this, if they're going to do anything.
When did they do that? In Korra?
There was like a
They
line or
alluded to
two they alluded to. Wait a second. Your father might be different, or different fathers with the sisters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to go back and watch, but I
Okay.
remember there being like this love triangle between like Toph, Sokka, and someone.
No, Sokka.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
My brain.
It's okay.
My apologies, everybody. My brain ain't working.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, super excited for this because I think that story, and their friendship, just the dynamic within that group has always been so fun to watch. And in Legend of Korra, when we finally did get Toph, she was kind of like Yoda Toph.
Yes.
You know, which is great, but it's also
grumpy Yoda.
It's kind of not what I expected with Toph. I don't know why I expected her to. Well, I guess she was really old.
Yeah.
And she's just like, just let me be.
And I think it was the fact that also in her younger years, she was she did what she wanted to do, which is really be like, I'm awesome. I'm the best of the best. I'm kicking everyone's butt. I invented metal bedding. I invented this. I got the police together. Okay, you know what?
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I'm old.
I'm retiring to the swamps. Goodbye.
But you're right. It is very much a what is that called? A Yoda Dagobah kind of setting.
Yeah.
Where she's training Korra in all of the earthbending.
Yeah, it's really exciting just to know. And the movie is slated to come out October of 2025. I like that it's an animated. Well, do I like that it's an animated film, or would I have preferred a series?
No, animated.
Animated film.
I want to see an animated film. I want
rather than an animated series. That's what I was saying.
Okay, maybe an animated series would have been nice because then you get more content.
You get more content, yeah. But I guess if they have the story figured out, then they would obviously battle whatever it is, the big bad. Maybe who do they have in Korra? The Equalists?
Well, there was a whole bunch of them. I mean, originally we thought that in Legend of Korra, there was going to be one bad guy throughout the entire 3 seasons. But each season had their own struggle and their own bad guy, which I kind of like. There were some bad guys that I really enjoyed watching that had really good depth to them. So I'm curious on what they're going to be doing if they're going to have some kind of big baddie for the movie.
Yeah, so we will see, but super excited that we're gonna get like that storyline. I'm ready to hear the theme music and just see these, characters and doing the time jump of them being older, and like Aang should be so badass.
Yeah,
like, that's
just to see the full power of Aang. And I remember, because there's also one moment that I really want to see, which happens. This isn't much of a spoiler because everyone knows that Aang dies because that's how Korra comes around. But there's a moment to where when Aang his body starts to fail, and he's like, wait a second, I'm only in my 30s or my 40s. Why is my body deteriorating? And he finds out it was because he had stayed in the avatar state for 100 years in the ice. So he goes back and starts talking to some of the other avatars, and they're like, it took such a toll on your body, and your lifespan is now shortened because of it.
Wow.
And I'm like, I really hope they address that
a little bit, even though they're still, in their prime. But Aang is also like 100 years older than everybody else, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So super excited about that. And then on top of that, we have, the Netflix live action series that is out now. All 8 episodes are available. We have just started watching last night, so we haven't watched, obviously haven't had time to go through the rest of them. It's not like we don't know where the story is going to end up, and you can also click through the episodes and look at the descriptions.
And I'm excited to see my favorite cabbage vendor.
Yes!
My cabbages!
My cabbages! So excited. But I thought aesthetically, just to give you guys kind of a quick, mini review of our thoughts on episode 1, I thought production, design, costume, the color of it was so lively and fun to watch. Thank you for not changing how to pronounce any of the characters' names. I really liked it all.
Traumatized by it.
Yeah, I like how a lot of the bending looked. I know it's expensive with all the special effects and the CGI. But I would also say the acting, some of the delivery of certain dialogues, I felt like there was potential for the actors to kind of give more, and I don't want to put that on the actors. A lot of them, this is like maybe their first big major thing, because and they're also like they're
especially
they're
for Team
young.
Avatar.
Yeah, they're really young, and I think it's really up to the director to need to pull that emotion out of them, because I think they all have the potential. I can see them go there, but you need the director to pull them out of that and give more. There's certain lines like I will say this: Sokka is doing really good. He is my favorite so far on Team Avatar. Like the dude literally looks like you ripped Sokka out of the anime and just like slapped him in the live action. Just go, and he sounds like him.
Yeah.
He's got the emotions correct. But I felt like sometimes in the dialogue between him and Katara, like he was here and she couldn't quite match his intensity.
Yeah, the intensity is what really needed to be pushed forward a little bit in a lot of the kids acting. Even in Iroh's acting, I wanted to see him be a little bit more intense. I wanted to see him be a little, I mean, because right now it just seems kind of bland and they're all kind of playing it safe. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did film this in close to chronological order, because it still seems like all the actors are kind of getting their footing on being in this world, being with these other actors. I'm hoping that later on down the line it starts to sharpen up a little bit, but so far so good. I like the CGI, I like the fighting, and there hasn't been a single moment to where I'm like,
why is your head red, Sokka?
Like there were so many moments in the movie that I just my whole
when you're watching the one that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Rodney with this comment here: do you think the Avatar Netflix series will get a second season? I feel hopeful. Well, yeah, honestly, if they're gonna do it, they need to do it quick, because Gordon is growing up quick.
Yeah.
If you saw him at the premiere, if you saw photos of they're all growing, and he's supposed to still like play within the same, unless they do a time jump or something. He's still got to look and sound 12, and the kid, like, you can't stop a kid from growing.
No,
he's
going to keep on getting
possible.
older.
Yeah, so
I think they're probably waiting to see how well this. I'm pretty sure they've already started movement on getting everything ready.
Yeah.
So if the series does take off really well, then they'll be like, okay, we're making the announcement, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to have to wait about a few days. But wait a second, when One Piece came out,
it took not right away. I think it took a little bit, but it was also during like the strikes.
Yeah.
So
true.
it's not like the cast can they can confirm in the news, but the cast also couldn't do anything about like outside of social media. They're like, woohoo, but then they're like, we can't work right now. We're on strike. We don't know. And thank you, CJ, for this comment. There is no Shyamalan movie in Bossy.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, you guys, let us know your thoughts on Avatar, the live action series, and also let us know your thoughts. Are you excited to see the story of Team Avatar continue on in the original form, in an animated form, in the form of a movie? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you guys all for joining us. We had so much fun talking all the movie stuff with you guys. We are trying to commit to, at least one live show a week. So we appreciate you guys being here, showing your interest. This is like the one place where we can really get, live, like real time interaction with you guys, because otherwise it's really in the comments, and usually I don't see those for like a few hours after you guys have posted it, and then I don't even know if you guys see our response. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who supported via Super Chat. We appreciate you. We will be back sometime next week with another. You got it.
Kind of. Yours always looks so much nicer than mine.
You just have to round out your. Yeah, yours is fine. What's wrong with yours?
Yours looks better.
For the both of us. All right, you guys. You guys enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and we will see you on the next live stream or video. Bye.